This is a production of Speed Sport, America's motorsports authority since 1934. Many believe that the 1960s were drag racing's glory days. Muscle cars with big ol' American horsepower, burning some big-time rubber, racing side by side in front of packed houses. Today, some 60 years later, those times continue on Speed Sport Presents. Another sellout crowd is here at Shadyside Dragway in Shelby, North Carolina for the next to the last event of the 2020 Southeast Gases Association season. Welcome back to 1967, everybody. I'm Ralph Shaheen, joined today by David Lancaster, the voice of Sega, and Mitch Stott. David, what a great day to go drag racing. And let's take a look at the A-Gas top 10 in points. It's just 5 points separating Steve Davis and Kenneth Phillips.
Steve Davis, a winner 2 times already this year in the A-Gas category, and that is what's propelled him to the top.
Now let's take a look at B-Gas. In this group here, it's TJ York and the Greenhorn Hillbilly with the points lead.
TJ York had a dominating year so far, only leads by 10 points over Wayne Swafford, but he has really put a stranglehold on this B-Gas category as he's made no mistake. He is going for the World Championship.
And the final category is C-Gas. And David, this is all about these 3 different categories: power, weight, displacement, that type of situation.
Yeah, our C-Gas category has to weigh 10 pounds per cubic inch of displacement. And this category led by George Miller from Montgomery, Indiana, and the Falcon Crazy. He's up on Josh Pruitt right now.
We got down here with the new motor and didn't have it tuned the way we wanted. We were fortunate enough that our guy that built our backup motor, he's going to let us run his car, so it's going to be brand new everything for me today. So we're going to have to really adapt and get out there and get after it.
And remember, here in Southeast Gasser competition, it's heads up, no breakout style drag racing.
And there is the Hoopty wagon, owned by Jimmy Huff, but again, driven by George Miller this weekend and going against Herman Gehring in the second chance. Wheels up for both cars off the line.
And Miller's going to move on through. We move on to the next pair now. Josh Pruitt in Youngblood and Dwight McGuire in the Steel Lady.
Yeah, McGuire over in the right lane there on your screen. A 47 Nash Rambler. Really got his hands full here. And it looks like he turns on the red light, giving the win right to Josh Pruitt.
Josh Pruitt, brother, round 1 is out of the way, and for you, and based on the point situation, the way it is in C-Gas, that's all you can hope for is round 1, round 2, round 3. I'm assuming that's your plan, and you're going to do everything in your power to make it happen.
Yes, sir. Car's running good, and hopefully later in the night, car start running better, but you just got to take it round by round. Can't worry about the rounds ahead.
That's true. You can only win them one at a time. If you can win them all at one time, that'd be different, but you can't. We'll look for you in round 2. We'll see what happens there.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Mitch, thank you very much. Here's Tim Hall and the Scalded Dog, scalding those big rear tires.
Yeah, Tim Hall, a vocational teacher by day and a drag racer by the weekend.
He's got the Carolina Flash. That's Steve Bright on the right side of your screen.
Steve Bright also works for the Department of Defense there out of North Charleston in that beautiful Barracuda that he calls the Carolina Flash.
And it looks like Hall's going to take the win and talk to Mitch.
Tim Hall, it perhaps maybe the way you're staring at that ET slip, there's something good or something bad, but first round is a win regardless.
Yeah, we got the round win, but it was bad. The driver didn't do his job. I didn't have the RPM up high enough, kind of bogged it a little bit.
Continue with our round 1 competition. Here's Rod Bergner and the Undertaker right there in blue, and he's going to red light.
Yeah, he was a little too anxious to get down the track, but these 2 guys, great friends and good barbs off the track on Facebook.
So Ernie Smith gets the win. Here's a look at it again.
Yeah, a little bit too much of the left clutch on Rod Bergner there.
Ernie Smith, Paula's nightmare is finally turning into that for none other than Rod Bergner. I know you guys have had a little bit of a battle going back and forth, and as the back of your T-shirt said in testing the other day, he was much faster on Facebook. Apparently that was true.
I tell you what, I owe Rod one from down in Aiken. It's been a long year. You know yourself, Mitch, we've tore up a bunch of stuff, but I got to thank my crew. I got to thank my wife. They've stayed with me. We've worked hard, and we're finally turning the corner. You know, we got this old hot rod running this weekend, and we're ready to go some rounds and get some attention.
That's a great sounding t-shirt, David. We need to get a couple of those. How about Cynthia Phillips and Flower Power right here?
That 56 Bel Air has roots all the way back to California in the gasser days of old. And there you see Cynthia really driving away for the win.
Cynthia Phillips, Flower Power, Shadyside Dragway, home track. I think you're the perennial favorite to win Seagas here today. Round one's out of the way. You got to be looking forward to second round and maybe a long day of drag racing based on your most recent races.
Yeah, I have no idea who I've got next round. I don't like to know till I need to know, so we'll see when I get there.
There's an old saying in drag racing, it don't matter. You got to beat them all to win, and we think maybe you're capable, so we'll look for you in second round. Good job.
Thank you.
I like how she approaches that. She is one tough competitor. Here is Zach Buff going against Charlie Lee.
Charlie Lee on paper should win this one, but the big red eye catches him, giving the win over to Zach Buff.
Here's a look at it again, and there you see the red bulb light up. Let's go down to Mitch at the far end.
Zach Buff, my friend, is fancy finding you in a race car down here in your own racetrack. You know, what a way to start it out. Round one out of the way. We'll look for you in round two.
Oh, yeah. It's fun. This is our first time in the car, so just something to play with and get us going, so it's fun.
Man owns his own racetrack, and it's the first time in a race car. Now, there's a problem with that. We'll see how you do in round two.
Yeah, the Buff family, Ronnie Buff, the grandfather of Zach Buff that you saw right there, built this racetrack, and now we find it in its truest form here today.
All right, how about Billy Wilson and Troublemaker, Rick Taylor and Maverick, and Rick comes all the way from Canada to race with Southeast Gassers.
Taking on Billy Wilson right here out of Gaffney, South Carolina in that 49 Studebaker, and Billy too quick on the clutch, turning on the big red light, giving the win over to Rick Taylor.
What's going on, my friend? You've been with us about 3 or 4 races now. Are we warming up to this old hot rod? What's happening?
I'm having so much fun, I'd travel halfway around the world.
And in some people's mind, you probably have.
And I'll do it again, because I'm having more fun than jumping out of an airplane.
Well, I would say that doing anything is more fun than jumping out of an airplane. I never found a reason to jump out of a perfectly good airplane.
It's exhilarating. That's why I do this crazy stuff.
I love the enthusiasm for not only drag racing, but the Southeast Gassers Association. Stay with us. More of this great drag racing coming your way on Speed Sport. Speed Sport Presents is brought to you by Willwood Racing. Complete USA-made brake systems from pedal to pad since 1977. Welcome back, Southeast Gassers Championship Drag Racing Series here at Shadyside Dragway, Shelby, North Carolina. We're moving on now to B-Gas. And David, they had an impressive 25-car turnout for this year's event here.
Yeah, our B-Gas cars have to weigh 8 pounds per cubic inch of displacement that they claim here in this category, and it's been one of the biggest ones consistently all year.
And we're going to get onto it with Smoke and Sam, Mike Blackwell behind the wheel, up against Flat Out. And he's going to get a competition single.
Yeah, competition single. Dan Hogan unable to make the bell right there. Next pair we see, there is the Patriot on the right-hand side. That Falcon driven by Daniel Haynes up against another Falcon, the Foul Bird, driven by Sean McLemore out of Clinton, Tennessee. Daniel Haynes been running really well this year. There you see the wheels up as they leave the line. Daniel Haynes going to streak on to victory.
Daniel Haynes, brother, you came so close at the last race or two winning, and you're well on your way to another opportunity here at Shadyside this weekend. Round one out of the way.
Round one out of the way. Hopefully we can get a little better.
Well, you know, that's the strategy throughout today. Get a little faster because the competition gets a little tougher each round you make.
Yes, sir, it sure does.
Well, and now we get the top 2 qualifiers, who are also the top 2 in points coming into this race.
There you see Wayne Swafford out of Fingerville, South Carolina. He sits number 2 behind T.J. York, the driver of the Greenhorn Hillbilly out of Ohio.
Well, this should be a great matchup, and just before the race, our Mitch Stott had a chance to talk to both drivers.
We've been qualifying up in the top half of the field. We've been qualifying there between first and third, having a real good year, and then we've been real consistent, driving good, car's been handling well, and we're just hoping to keep it going the rest of the year for the last 2.
Wayne, today there's only 2 races left. After today, there's 1. If you had any desire to win this championship when you started this season, and I'm assuming you did, you've climbed the ladder for something. then buddy, now or never is the time.
Yeah, that's true. But you know, Mitch, we got some fast cars here today, and as you know, as an old racer, you know, the higher in that ladder you go, the faster they usually get. So it's up to me.
Well, and in round one, Wayne had to go up against Jason Roberts, Carolina Moon.
Carolina Moon out of Lexington, South Carolina, but Wayne Swafford with that Gene Fulton horsepower underneath the hood right there in your right side leaves him in the dust.
He's going to get the win, and as you look at the replay here, David, so much quicker off the light.
Yeah, he really was good with his left foot as these cars are manually shifted in all 4 gears.
Love this name, Todd Napier in the Atomic Hillbilly versus Brian Dalton in Glory Bound.
Bryant Dalton, both of these guys out of Tennessee, and the Atomic Hillbilly right here of Todd Napier have been on a tear this year, and he takes a win after you see Dalton stumble on the line.
Todd Napier, my friend, what do you have to say about winning first round at Shadyside Dragway?
I'm coming wide open. I'm gonna blow the rods out of this baby. I'm telling you, the Atomic Hillbilly's gonna have the boom boom today. Better be glad old Bam Blam went out early. I was gonna make, might want to edit that. God, I'm sorry.
Boom, boom, and blam, blam. I love it. I love it. How about a little shake and bacon here with Troy Leitner?
He's taking on Adam Lowhorn, who turns on the red light, giving the win right over to Leitner.
And Shake and Bacon's going to move on. We move on to that purple Ford in the right side. That's Colby Welch, young driver.
Colby Welch out of Warsaw, Illinois, in that 65 Ranchero on your right side of the screen right there. Stumbles after missing second gear, trying to come back and beat Michael Walters, unable to do it.
And next up, it's Jerry Birch in Freebird going against Dean Harrison. Greg Ghost, a little bit of a staging duel.
Yeah, a little gamesmanship going on the line here. These two guys have raced each other many, many times in the Southeast Gassers, and Jerry Birch taking the win here.
Jerry Birch, brother, round one out of the way, as I was just talking to some of these other competitors out here that's chasing this thing, along with you and TJ, obviously being Wayne Swafford. All you can do is make the rounds, match the rounds. So far, you've done that. We'll see what you got in store for round two.
Yeah, and I had my old nemesis, the Gray Ghost, Dean Harris, that time. He tried to burn me down on the line. We had a little starting duel, so as for the OG.
You know, he is kind of a ghost from Christmas past, out here back up to his old antics, but they didn't work against the Purple Haze.
Nope, we still ain't afraid of no ghost.
A little gamesmanship. I love it. And we get our first look at a Corvette here in this one.
That is the Corvette of Tim Bailey, our two-time world champion in B-Gas. He's taking on Alfred Adams out of Clover, South Carolina, and Adams learns on the red light, leaving too early against that two-time champ.
So the vet moves on, and now we get a bye run here for our number one qualifier.
Yes, that's TJ York, and we heard from earlier in the Greenhorn Hillbilly, and you see that wonderful paint job. Wheels up in second gear for York.
Yes, sir, it does. We needed it a little bit. I had to adjust the clutch again, and had a little bit off there in the second qualifying pass. Then that one there, I still got a little bit off. I'm having trouble in fourth gear with it every once in a while, so I got to work on that.
As we discussed earlier in a pit interview, buddy, you got them all the way around you. I suggest you get that fixed.
We're going to go back and work on it.
Well, the cars aren't the only thing dressed for 1967. Here's Elizabeth Phillips in a period attire, backing up Michael Walters. We're coming right back with more Southeast Gassers action after this. Back here at Shadyside Dragway, a couple of fans enjoying the hillside, catching all the Sega action. Southeast Gassers Association. Ralph Shaheen, David Lancaster, and Mitch Stott with you here today. And now we move on to A-Gas. These are the big guy.
These cars have to weigh 6 pounds per cubic inch of displacement they can.
And before we went racing, Mitch Stott had an opportunity to catch up with the top two in the point standings.
The first half of the year was real good. You know, we made the semifinals, first time, made the finals in two of the races in Indiana and down in Alabama. Ended up winning both of those. So that get me out just a little bit. Then I've had a couple bad streaks. The last two races didn't make too many points, but hey, it is part of the game. Sometimes you're on the top, sometimes you're on the bottom. So we hope to change all that around today.
You said at last year's banquet that you intended to be the Southeast Gassers Association first two-time back-to-back winner.
That's what I'm looking for, and that's my plan, and all I got to do is go out here and do my part. I think the car's there.
Well, here we go. Leslie Horn, Chase Howard, first two.
Leslie Horn right here, and then My Chick Bad, that chick magnet you see in the left lane right there. He is in a 55 Chevy, and look at the wheels up on both of those cars as they leave the line.
Your Leslie Horn brother, that was a very impressive looking round number one. I don't know what the ticket yields, but I know she was stroking when you come through down here.
I don't know what the ticket is yet either, but it felt like it was rolling. I had to try to back up that number one qualifier a while ago too with the track record, so I think it is, but I don't want to look at it yet. I'm going to wait till I get to the trailer. It felt like it was. It felt like a good pass. Old Hot Rod's doing good. It's running good. Brian Harris has got the thing going straight. Left lane there was a little sketchy a while ago. I decided I wanted to finish up in the, right lane. I wanted to finish up in the left lane, but I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we got it covered.
Well, and going straight's such a big deal because these cars put so much power to the ground. Keeping them headed in a straight direction, such a big part of it. Steve Davis up against Rob Walden.
Yeah, that 33 Willis of Walden there on the left side. What a car.
It's a great car, just not quick enough here. Let's take another look at it.
Yeah, Steve Davis, our number one points leader. You can see him in wheels up in second gear, and he screams on to victory.
Burnout's taking place for the next pair, and let's head back down to the far end. Here's Mitch.
Steve Davis, your job today is win rounds. That job you have done, number one. Do you have any changes for round two or more of the same?
Maybe a little air pressure gauge on the back end. I still hopped a little bit right there in second gear, but other than that, Rob's a tough competitor. That little 409 car rolls, baby, so you better be on the game. So whoever I race next, probably one of them guys, so we'll be ready. One of those guys.
I'm going to bet it'll be one of them, and Steve, yes, sir, be ready, buddy. This thing should go down to the count in Florida.
That's right. Looking forward to it.
Well, that next pair is going to be Sam Gable and Moonshine. He's got his hands full with that Corvette over there, Kenneth Phillips and Silver Streak 2.
Yes, our defending world champion in that 58 Corvette right there in the left lane, you see. What a great lead by both cars.
Yeah, and the Corvette's going to trailer him.
Kenneth Phillips A-Gas is, like I said, in one of the tightest points battles we've seen in a long time. And your job today, as we talked earlier, is to make rounds. You have done that in round number one. Any different changes for round number two?
Come back out and do the same thing. I want to talk to you about 4 times today.
I was going to say, if you do the same thing 4 times, you'll be in a good spot.
That's what I got to do.
You're talking to Mitch. At the end of the day, you're having a good day, right? Southern Flyer up against the Avenger.
The 31A model right there in your right side, Gabriel Burrow, got the John Kazi horsepower under the hood.
Ooh, and it's putting it down to the track, too. He's the winner.
Gabriel Burrow, brother, I tell you what, that's round one win, and I'm going to hope it was some strong numbers because your A-Gas contingent from my end of the viewpoint on this racetrack is strolling today.
It was a good number. It's not a great number, but the car done good. It had a good light. I'm glad to get that first round out of the way, get the jitters gone. So we're ready to go next round, see what we can do with Steve Davis.
Where else are you going to see a Model A racing outside of Southeast Gassers, right? And how about this? Happy Days versus Quick and Dirty.
Yeah, number 2 qualifier, Ben Christopher here today out of Boiling Springs. Gets left on the line, but makes that difference up very quickly.
Ben Christopher, brother, you know, you have won a race or so this year. Shadyside being a close home track. I think it'd be a good one for you to win here as well.
Sounds good to me. I got some gremlins I've been fighting. Last night, I made no good rounds. I had 1 pound of fuel pressure both rounds, and turned out to be a fuel pressure regular issue, so hopefully I got it behind me here. I guess we'll see what happens.
Katie Jackson making sure Gabriel Burrell was lined up properly. He was. He was the winner in round 1. We got more racing coming your way on Speed Sport. Welcome back to Shadyside Dragway, a really cool 1/8 of a mile, full concrete, 50-foot wide drag strip here in the Southeast in North Carolina.
And there you see our C-Gas up-to-date points. George Miller still sitting on top. Josh Pruitt in the Youngblood sitting right there in second, and Cynthia Phillips holding down 3rd place.
Yeah, and Cynthia is going to go up against the Scalded Dog. Here's Tim Hall.
Oh, Cynthia's car moving hard toward the wall, and Tim Hall streaks away for the victory.
We talked about keeping them straight.
Cynthia Phillips and the Flower Power was about to go for a ride. That thing looked like it's trying to take out the right-hand guardrail, but for you, you were just locked up and gone.
I think that might have been the best run all day, but I can't read it. My old eyes, I don't have my reading glasses, so.
Have to wait and get back to the trailer and let your mother or let your children read the time slip for you. That's what I would have to do.
My wife's up there. She can read it probably.
Good job. Like I said, Tim, round 2 out of the way. We'll look for you in round 3.
Appreciate it.
Well, Cynthia didn't get the win light, but she does get our Will Wood break of the race. She does a great job pulling this thing back into the lane.
She is an absolutely great driver that has really, really held that car as it was going straight to the wall. She knew what to do.
Cynthia Phillips, our Will Wood break of the race. We move on to Larry Floyd and Stud Muffin going up against that hoopty wagon.
Yeah, George Miller driving that car over there in the right-hand side right now, but got a big competitor in Larry Floyd, the #1 qualifier, to try to take out in his Too Much Floyd.
Larry Floyd, that would look to be a pretty close run from my viewpoint down here. I don't know what went wrong, but I know it sounded good. 2 wagons, Ford, Chevrolet, both turning some serious RPM.
Turning some serious RPMs. Yeah, I think the driver on this side over here slipped a little bit on the line, but hey, it is what it is. It's a win. I hate it for George. I know George is running for the points, but we're trying to get the W.
Well, and George Miller's loss is going to help out Josh Pruitt in Youngblood if he can get through this round.
Yeah, a good opponent right here in Ernie Smith that Josh Pruitt's got to try to get by. And Ernie Smith going hard, but look, something breaks on Josh Pruitt's car. Ernie Smith hustles that car down the racetrack.
Ernie Smith, brother, this just may be your day when you put a guy like Josh Pruitt on the trailer.
I tell you what, Mitch, I just beat a really good race car in a round I shouldn't have. This thing made a hard left move. I about hit the Christmas tree. I straightened it out, was chasing him, and I don't know what happened. But my hat's off. That's a darn good race car and a darn good race driver I just beat.
Well, that's why you run them, right? Because you never know what's going to happen. Here's our next pair.
You don't run them on paper. Ted McKee right here on the right side going to take on Zach Buff there in the Mighty Lady on the right side. Ted McKee, Too Much Fulton power right there.
Yeah, he gets the win.
Ted, brother, you know, it's always good when blood comes about. I understand the shifter lever come broke or something, TN will come off. Yes. Bloody fingers means that something is going to go good.
Yes, sir. I pulled second gear and that thing split in half. I don't know where it went. It's in here somewhere.
Throw it in the back and grab a nut.
Grab another one, brother. That's it.
Well, hopefully he's talking about the shifter, not his finger, right? Let's take a look at the B-gas. As after round number 1 completed.
Now you see TJ York still with a commanding 10-point lead over Wayne Swafford.
Number 3 qualifier Mike Blackwell and Smokin' Sam up against Ray Fossil and Bustin' Loose. And it's going to be Blackwell taking the win.
Mike Blackwell, my friend, you and Smokin' Sam have just had quite the reunion. You getting back in this hot rod, putting old Ray Fossil, apparently he didn't bust loose quite enough.
Yeah. Ray's a good guy. I'm glad I won. I don't know what to say.
Well, what you say is you're going to go get ready to win another round here in a little bit.
I ain't going to say too much, but yes.
Well, Zach Hall's been having issues with the clutch and Junkyard Dog. Now he's got to go up against Michael Walters in the Willis.
Yeah, the beautiful Willis right there, but good leave right there by Zach Hall driving that car of Danny Bird's this weekend and takes the win.
I think we got the clutch dialed in. It run pretty good, that piece. We're nipping away at it.
The car not pulling in the staging beams anymore, so everything's stable. So from here on out, should be just holy terror.
Just up to me now. Hopefully I won't mess up too bad.
Up next, Shake and Bacon and Atomic Hillbilly.
And 2 of the greatest drivers, too, right here. Todd Napier over there in the right lane. Troy Leitner going to take the win right here as that car just keeps bouncing for the Hillbilly.
You got to be feeling pretty good down here, what is pretty close to a home racetrack for you, and you're just making rounds and making them quite impressively.
Yes, sir, buddy. I'm dancing in here right now. I'm loving this. I'm getting it straightened out a little bit. I tell you, this track hooks so well that you can have your car going straight every place else, and you come here and it'll want to hook on you a little bit.
The more traction you got, the more stress it puts on that suspension, brother. A good racetrack and a whole lot of horsepower will find all the weak spots. Good job, son. We'll look for you in round 3.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah, he's running straight down the boulevard, isn't he? Now it's the Patriot versus Alley Cat 2.
Yeah, Alley Cat 2, Tim Bailey out of Southern Pines, North Carolina, and that Corvette, he's going to be on the right side of your screen right there as he takes the win.
And next up, it's Kelvin Cannon and Loose Cannon versus Jerry Birch and Freebird.
Yeah, the Freebird right there just takes him off the line and too much of that horsepower.
Jerry wins.
Lord's blessed us today. We've been working through some things, and we just on to the next round. Yes.
Oh, Nemesis out of the way first round. Kelvin Cannon out 2. Hey, a couple more of these guys, you might just call this one as a good day.
Exactly.
Got another B-Gas run coming up here. TJ York and that Greenhorn Hillbilly and Rick Varner and the Dirt Man.
Varner turns on the red light as he knew he had to go in thin against the champ.
Yeah, and as you see, boy, the pressure is mounting in these later rounds, David.
It really is. Varner taking it to a red light.
You know, these guys, sometimes they realize they've only got one opportunity, and that is to take every gamble they can on the starting line. This time for Rick, did not pay off. Red.
Yeah, Rick, man, he's a guy. You know, my son's driving for him right now, and he's just, if it wasn't for his boys, I wouldn't get here with my broken trailer. He fixed the hitch on my trailer for me to get me here, and he's deadly on the tree. So when you run Rick, you got to be on. It doesn't matter. You got to be on the game.
Well, being fast is only part of the package. You got to be on yours for sure.
You got to be able to drive, and I mess that up every once in a while.
Doesn't want to mess it up in the next round, and we're coming back with A-Gas round 2. Fastest guys in the field here at Shadyside when Speed Sport returns with Southeast Gassers on MAV TV. Welcome back to Speed Sport Presents, today with the Southeast Gassers Association. Earlier today, we had a chance to catch up with Southeast Gassers owner and operator Quayne Stott, the former drag race champion, about what makes Sega so different.
The other nostalgia groups are great deals. They're wonderful. I can't say nothing bad about them, but we're doing it totally different. We're doing it to the point to where the rules, we have 22 pages of rules that make the cars be unique. So it's not just an old school body class. All nostalgia groups have rules that say it can't be newer than a 67 or whatever. Ours, we're down to tires, wheels, even the decals on the cars even have to be hand lettered. But the other big point that makes it so unique and the reason it keeps growing is because we actually have competition. These cars are truly racing each other, heads up, first finish line wins. No breakout, no silly stuff like that. This is the first man that gets there wins the race, just like it was in 1967.
And that's one of the reasons, David, why Quayne doesn't want the electronic timing and scoring visible to the fans.
That's right. It is his interpretation of what a gasser should be. As we look at the A-Gas points right now, Steve Davis still holding on to that 5-point lead over Kenneth Phillip.
All right, Gabriel Burrell, Southern Flyer, Steve Davis, here we go.
Good look at these cars as they get ready to leave the line here, and the Christmas tree right there letting them know.
Oh, what a good run! Looks like Spinny's gonna lose it.
And he lost it right there on the starting line. As you see, Gabriel Burrow really good on the clutch, leaving him in the dust.
Here's Mitch.
We give it all we had, and that's all you can ask for. So good job by him, and heck, we had a good job too. We just got beat.
I've been chasing him all year. The car finally came around with the new John Kazi motor. It started running. Got a whole shot on him and outran him, so couldn't be happier.
Well, let's see if somebody get the whole shot here. Silver Streak going up against Slingshot.
Yeah, two really good matched cars right here, both with a alliterative S on there, Slingshot and Silver Streak. And here they go, getting ready for action.
Well, it looks like the Corvette got out early.
And that's all it takes to take the win right there.
And now it's Agent Orange versus Happy Day.
Dean Jonas versus Ben Christopher in the Happy Days, as you see those 66 Chevy 2s, and Dean Jonas taking the win.
That was the fastest run I've ever been, and I knew I had to go for it because Ben's really fast, and I took a shot on the starting line and got away with it.
So Steve Davis in Spinny, the points leader coming into today's race, gets knocked out. We're moving on after this. Welcome back. Speed Sport Presents. Ralph Shaheen, David Lancaster, and Mitch Stott with you as we look at C-Gas points after a couple of rounds of racing here today.
George Miller still clinging to that 25-point lead over Josh Pruitt. Both of those guys out of competition as we are back here at Shadyside.
C-Gas quarterfinal, round 3 action. Larry Floyd Stud Muffin versus Larry Noel and Crazy Horse.
Noel just could not hold that clutch in long enough, and he pulls through the line, giving Larry Floyd the win.
We move right on to Ted McKee versus Tim Hall and that Scalded Dog.
Scalded Dog been really doing well today. Could be his day, but he's got to get through Ted McKee right here first.
And it looks like he's going to pull it off at the far end. Ernie Smith, Paula's Nightmare, gets a bye run.
Yeah, and good thing he did. Looked like he had a little problem there leaving the line, Ralph. as he eases on down the racetrack. That's all he has to do is take the light for the victory.
But he moves on, and we move on to B-Gas. Here's their top 5 points after 2 rounds. TJ York and that Greenhorn Hillbilly up top by 10.
Sure is. And Greenhorn Hillbilly doing a great job to try to carry to this championship.
Mike Blackwell's going to get a bye run as well in Smoke and Sam.
Great race car right here out of the Par Race engine underneath the hood for Mike Blackwell, and he lets it eat off the line.
Well, that thing just screamed down the track, didn't it? And here's Shake and Bacon. Been a really good night so far for Troy Leitner.
And again, you see Zach Hall having trouble. Looks like it pulled him through the line. The air gap just wasn't enough in that clutch.
Wayne Swafford, Tim Bailey, Alley Cat 2 right here in the blue and white Corvette.
Yeah, that Corvette's got his hands full right here with Wayne Swafford. Even though a 2-time champ in Bailey gives him all he's got on the line, looks like too much Wayne Swafford in this one.
Lights ablazing, and so is the win light for Swafford, TJ York, Jerry Birch.
Freebird right here in the closest to you. Turns on the red light. Is it, again, the intimidation factor of the Greenhorn Hillbilly?
Yep, York takes the win and moves on, and there's one more look at that Corvette station. What a pretty car. We're coming right back. So far today, we have focused on A, B, and C gas, and now, David, Super Stock.
These cars are cars that you might have found in a high school parking lot in the 60s. That Comet Caliente right there was Mark Hackett. You saw him rolling to the line.
Yeah, he's the current points leader in this category as we get into the action here. Picking up at the quarterfinals, round 2. We're going to start things off with Rick Varner. You've heard that name quite a bit today. He's going up against Johnny Royal.
Yeah, we call Varner the Rick Hendrick of the Southeast Gassers, as he owns 3 cars in competition here today in the Super Stock category, and he takes the victory.
Now we move on to James Bird versus Tyler York and Grumpy.
Another car that Varner owns right there, the Grumpy, looks like he's having some trouble on the line, and James Beard going to take the win.
James Beard, brother, round 2 in Superstock. I tell you, you guys just never look so better than in Superstock contention.
It's about time something fit me right, ain't it, Mitch?
Well, you are kind of big guy, you know, and as you said, something fits you right. I think Superstock fits you like a glove, James.
Well, yeah, you know, a big car like this, big guy like me, it's easier on a big fella. You know, you're in and out, and just you got more room, and maybe we're gonna do good here before it's over with.
Shoot, you got room for the family in this one.
Yeah, bring them on.
Room for the family. You see that upholstery right there, just right out of 1965 in that car he had. Mark Hackett, who's our #1 qualifier, gets a bye run right here, and he cruises on down the racetrack.
So Varner now goes up against James Beard.
Yeah, a couple of Biscaynes right here on the line with big block car.
And Varner's going to get the win here in round 3, which means he's talking to Mitch.
Rick Varner's going into the 3rd round of Superstock. You're standing strong yet to find out what Chris is going to do. But nonetheless, you have been the class of Superstock a few times over the course of this year.
We're working on it. It's just a struggle. Them 7-inch tires.
It's a drag race. It's always going to be a struggle. It don't matter if they're 7 or 70.
It's tough. It's tough. And Mark Hackett's one tough one to beat.
That's one of the cool things about this category, those narrow tires.
Hoosier Racing Equipment makes a Southeast Gasser Super Stock tire especially for this category.
David, we got a problem here.
Looks like Austin's leaking some fluid on the line. That's going to spell the end of the day for him.
Mark Hackett, that's just one more round of points on that championship bid that you have posted for 2020. Apparently that one turning into a competition single due to him, Chris, being unable to take the starting line.
Yeah, Mitch, I hate that for him. I mean, he's come a long way today, and we wanted to race him and make a good race out of it for the fans, but he had some kind of little mechanical issue there, so I'm not sure what that is, but we're glad to move on.
Be truthful, you just wanted to kick on another Chevrolet.
I don't hate it.
It doesn't matter how you get the W, right? Now here's a look at B-Gas as we move back on to that category, top 5, heading into the semis.
TJ York still there on top, and he comes out here in the first matchup against Troy Leitner in that 51 Henry J on your left.
Well, and everything's better with Bacon, right? And Shakin' Bacon has been awful good here today.
He's got a big bacon to try to fry right here as the Greenhorn Hillbilly of TJ York, our #1 qualifier here today, streaks away.
Boy, York came out of the blocks quick. He gets the win, and we move on to the next pair, Wayne Swafford, Mike Blackwell.
Yeah, a couple of neighbors right here in some good race cars. Looks like Swafford has some problems with the air gap, and it pulls him through the beams, turning on the red light.
Yeah, let's take a look at it again.
What I'm talking about there with the air gap is the air between the clutch and the pressure plate. Looks like that was just welding together, pulling Swafford through the line, turning on the red light.
Nothing the driver can do about that. Here's the A-gas points as we head into the semifinals. Just 5 points between Davis and Phillips as we head back to Christmas tree.
Yeah, and this Phillips matchup right here, he's got to get by Leslie Horn, who's in there in that chick magnet. We'll see if the 55 is up to the task right here against that Corvette.
And the vet streaks to the win.
Leslie Horn, my man, you know it's never too bad to lose to a guy like Kenneth Phillips. And plus, that just moved him into tied position for the championship points standing right now.
What are you talking about? It's never too bad to lose to somebody. What's wrong with you, Mitch?
It could be worse if you lost somebody who wasn't normally a winner.
I understand. Yeah, so that was a pretty good race there. I really thought the old big block was going to come through, but I heard it the last round, and so we limping it through, so it was a little off on power. So it is what it is.
A little fun at the far end, right? Here's Dean Jonas and Gabriel Burrell up now.
Jonas knows he's got to go in thin and get everything he can on the tree right here against Burrell, because that big John Causey horsepower that sits over there in the right side is going to be a tough matchup.
Boy, and that old Ford is quick.
He was there for the taking, but it didn't pan out.
I didn't really have him on the tree, but he was slow early. He had a tire spin or something, and I was in front. I pulled second gear, my shifter handle spun, and my hand flew off the shifter. It didn't go in. That's racing, buddy.
Yeah, that was a terrible run, but I'll take them any way they come. I need to go ahead and knock Kenneth out because I'm one round behind him, so if I can knock him out, we'll be tied up on points going into Holt. So I plan to see if I can put him on the trailer right here and get this thing to A to B quicker.
Doesn't matter how you do it, a win light is a win light, which means the finals are coming up when Speed Sport returns to Shadyside. Ready for our first finals here at Shadyside Dragway, Southeast Gases Association. This is the Super Stock Final.
Yeah, you got Rick Varner right there in the right side, backed up by his daughter, Savannah Varner. And you see Christy Burchett bringing up Mark Hackett right there in the Mercury Poison at 65 Mercury.
Hackett's out quick, and he's going to get the win.
You have basically dominated 2020, even with some of the issues you've had with car breakage, those type things, different engine combinations. But I think if the math agrees with all and the stars line up, if you show up in Florida, the 2020 Superstock Championship has been cinched by none other than Mark Hackett.
That sounds great, Mitch. We're gonna keep working until we get there, and that actually happens, and that's official. But we couldn't be happier. You mentioned last year. I think last year we came so close. We kind of learned how to run for a championship, and this year, with everything that's happened with engine problems, everything in the world, tough racers like Rick Varner and everybody else, you know, every week just beating on us, we couldn't be happier. I mean, it's fantastic.
This is the penultimate round of the 2020 season. There's one more to go in Florida. C-Gas Finals up next. Here we go. Larry Floyd and Tim Hall.
Yeah, Larry Floyd driving the car owned by Leslie Horn was the 2019 champ, and Tim Hall in a Scalded Dog Rambler trying to get out of that third position he sees in the points right now.
And you can see George Miller's got a pretty good lead here in C-Gas. Scalded Dog and Stud Muffin ready to go.
Great shot from in-car cameras on both cars right here as they inch up to the stage beams.
Oh, and a problem. Gonna give Scalded Dog the win.
Here's another look right here on the onboard camera. Just a slight advantage by Tim Hall off the line, but you see something misses right there in that 3-4 shift for Larry Floyd.
So Tim Hall takes the win.
Great shot right out of his front window as he streaks away to victory down there and getting the W.
It was a very hard-fought win. We've struggled with this car all day long and finally got it going straight down the track like it needed to. And I think Larry hurt something too on top of that. I had already gotten in front of me and then something happened and he dropped back. So
Well, we've got more final action coming your way as we race down to the win light one more time in C-Gas, B-Gas, A-Gas finals coming up right here on MAV TV with Southeast Gassers from Shadyside.
Speed Sports Presents has been brought to you by Geico.
Hey everybody, it's Ralph Shaheen here at Bike Week in Daytona Beach, Florida with my buddy Stephen Wallace from Southern Country Customs. Now if you like custom bikes like I do, Stephen builds some of the best, and we're going to show you some of the cool tricks of the trade these days. What are you doing, Stephen?
Man, it's all about the details. So we take these motors, we do these really unique cool grinds and all this stuff on them. So we'll chip out the cylinders, that's called pineapple express cutting. Then we do a thing called diamond cutting them. So there's 2 stages to make it look like jewelry. Audio is a big part of our motorcycle builds. We use carbon fiber speakers that are 100% waterproof. It's awesome.
It's an industry that is always evolving, always changing, and very creative, as you can see, with Stephen Wallace from Southern Country Customs. Final 2 runs of what has been a great day of drag racing here at Shadyside Dragway, Southeast Gases Association. We're going to begin with the B-Gas finals as we fire them up one more time, heating those hides.
That's Mike Blackwell right there in the Smoking Sam going to try to slay the giant. That is the Greenhorn Hillbilly of TJ York that's in the right side.
Staged up, ready to go. Here come the revs. And it looks like the Hillbilly's going to get him.
Yeah, just another dominating performance there as we take a look at it again. TJ York right here on the line getting a slight advantage in that 60-foot margin of victory as he takes the Greenhorn Hillbilly to another victory lane.
Here's Mitch with our winner, TJ York.
That was a big round. Last 2 rounds were really big. I needed this going into Florida. You never know what can happen. I mean, still a lot of tough competition out there. This B-Gas class has been tough all year long. It's stepped up amazingly. These cars are flying in B right now. It's really tough out here.
Well, the final pair of the night, getting ready to go. Gabriel Burrell in the Southern Flyer, gonna go up against Kenneth Phillips, Silver Streak.
These 2 guys have matched up so many times. These are 2 of the best cars on the property. 6 pounds per cubic inch as we get ready to launch them.
Staged, revs, on a red light. The Corvette red lights. And the win is going to go to that old Ford as Stephen Smith from Southeast Gassers catches it all on camera there. And the celebration takes place up at the front end with Gabriel Burrell. His crew's celebrating, and we go to the far end to talk to the winner.
Me and Kenneth are going into Florida tied in the points. He'll be number 1 just because he got there first, but we're tied, so whoever goes around farther should be ours. So we're going to try to do it one more time. It wasn't pretty. He gave it to me, but I'll take it any way they come.
Kenneth Phillips, brother, that was a wonderful race today. Obviously, you and Gabriel making it to the final round. However, it did not go your way. A great drag race nonetheless. Slight red light on your part, but here is the interesting part for the fans. You 2 boys are going to Florida tied, number 1 for the points.
Are we tied? We are tied.
You are tied.
Well, that ain't good, but I guess.
That is great for the fans.
At least I'm there, I guess.
You win, lose, or draw, you will be talked about into infamy.
That'll be good. I hope it's going to be a win, I hope.
All you got to do is win Florida, brother, and you are a back-to-back world champion.
That's what I'm after. Thank you.
Well, Florida is going to be a great one. Let's take a look as Tim Hall celebrates a C-Gas win. Here's our Will Wood C-Gas top 10 points.
George Miller's still holding on to that commanding 25-point lead over Josh Pruitt as they head into Florida. Tim Hall creeps up into a tie for second.
TJ York won in B-Gas. Now look at the Will Wood-sponsored B-Gas top 10 point standing.
There you see TJ York again, 20-point lead over Wayne Swafford, and Jerry Birch, the Freebird, sitting back there only 10 points behind Wayne Swafford.
And in A-Gas, it was Gabriel Burrell with the win. He's got everybody celebrating as we take a look at the Willwood-sponsored A-Gas Top 10 with 1 round to go.
this three-headed monster headed into Florida is really going to be entertaining. Again, Steve Davis just one round back in third place, one round out of competition.
Well, we were thrilled here at Speed Sport to be able to bring you Southeast Gassers Association for the first time ever on MAP TV. We sure hope you enjoyed it. David Lancaster, Mitch Staub working with us. Thank you for all the insight today, David. Look forward to seeing you at the races. And a big thank you to Quayne Stott, the owner and promoter of Southeast Gassers, for letting us bring it all to you. I'm Ralph Shaheen. Thanks a lot for joining us from Shadyside Dragway here on Speed Sport.